there, and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 1 retrospective review, where I go through older episodes of the show that I never got around to reviewing and give my thoughts and opinions. And at long last, we're finally starting to come to the end of Season 1, thank goodness. It's been a big old slog, and we're finally making our way into the finale. Not quite yet, but we're almost there. And that path to the finale, it begins with some pretty key episodes of Season 1, the Origins two-parter. Episodes that show off a lot of pretty important plot for the story to jump into Season 2. But yeah, like I said, two-parter this time. And the first two-parter in the history of the show. How exciting. And so yeah, let's jump into it, shall we? Nothing else for it. So we start off the episode with a bit of exposition surrounding the history of the Miraculous, given to us by the cutesy voice of Nuru. Nuru is so cute. Makes me really sad that we have to watch this little dude season after season just get bullied, mistreated, and abused. And now he's stuck with Lila at the end of things. Oh, poor guy can't catch a break. Anyway, little fella explains that there are many Miraculouses, including some cool ones that we never get to see. Why are you going to tease me with a stag and a lion Miraculous and then never show them off? Oh, it seems cruel. We learn that the Ladybug and the Cat Miraculous are by far the most powerful, especially the Ladybug, as by the end of Season 5, it just seems to have so many functions.
If my power is the power of creation, yes, create! Your only limits are the ones you put on yourself.
Meanwhile, the cat's just sitting there. Cataclysm go brr. Also, so these Kwamis are like eternal, right? So, before they were bound to the jewels, which allowed the mortal world to see them and interact with them, I assume they could still communicate with each other. They still had some sort of physical form, humans just couldn't see them. So, did they always look like that? Or did the guy who made the jewels decide which animal each Kwami would embody? Like, how do you reckon that works? Regardless, a mysterious figure, Hawkmoth, whose silhouette is the same shape as Gabriel Agreste and who has the same voice as Gabriel Agreste, he's just lurking in the shadows. He's talking to Nuru about how he wants the wish and is going to use the power of the butterfly, which allows him to empower loyal followers to create villains to lure out the heroes. But they're going to keep his identity hidden for now. Like we can't tell. Although, I say that now, but legitimately, I do remember there was a not insignificant subsection of the fandom, back in the day, that were totally in denial about this. Oh, no, it's not gay, but just, they use the same voice actor, inexplicably, blah, 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 blah. Good times. Like, come on. Moving on, we see Master Fu and Waze, where Waze almost reveals himself whilst Fu's... Is this supposed to be a massage? Is he massaging through that dude's clothes? A shirt I could understand, for a bit of privacy if you wanted, I guess. But he's wearing a jacket too? Massaging through the jacket? Oh, surely they had a different character model they could have used for this scene. Anyway, Waze tells Fu that he felt Nuru's aura, and the aura felt dark, so it was being used by a villain. And so Fu decides it's time to go out in search of the Miraculous and save Nuru, but he's old and his back hurts. And here we learn that Fu is 186 years old. Damn, it's looking good for a man of that age. Like, his hair is still partly black here. Although, if we take him at his word, he was born in the 1820s sometime, you'd think. Does that mean that old man Fu, who would have been over 100 at the time, was romancing that woman during World War II?
You sly dog!
Yeah. He realizes he probably needs some help at this stage of the game because he's so old, and so he gets out the Ladybug and the Cat Miraculouses to go in search of worthy wielders. And this is where we meet Marinette, and my god, what is wrong with this girl? First up, her mum calls out to her that her alarm's been buzzing for 15 minutes. So, the way that this is phrased in the show implies to me that the alarm has just been buzzing non-stop all that time, which makes me think, the hell? Have you heard of the snooze button, you absolute fool? Next, she comes downstairs to complain about the potential of Chloe being in her class for another year of school, with her mum seemingly trying to get her to brush off that fact, and just accept that her long-term bully might be there to once again torment her for a full year. At this point, you've got to be calling the school, Mum. Come on, get them to change that. Ensure that they're not in the same class. But then she goes and puts her milk into her bowl before her cereal, and suddenly my sympathy vanishes.
Disgusting!
What kind of serial killer shit is this? Ugh. Serial killer. But yeah, what kind of weird mentality does it take to go milk first? My god. And her cereal pouring technique here? Tilting the box and then just smacking it? That's a dangerous game we're playing. Although, looking at the box again, is that even cereal? Or is that chocolate milk powder? Kind of looks like chocolate milk powder by the picture on the front. So if so, chocolate milk for breakfast? Based. But the technique, even more absurd if it's chocolate milk. You'd use a spoon to measure out your quantity. Otherwise, you're going to accidentally pour half the container into your bowl. Lunacy. Utter lunacy. What's going on here? But speaking of utter lunacy, she gets her macarons from her dad. And God, her dad is just the nicest guy ever. And she heads off to school and has to save Fu from getting murdered by a speeding car. And I say murdered because it would be, well, I think it would be murder. Because whilst he is clearly in the wrong for crossing on the red walking signal, at the same time, that car can see him. It can see him, he's quite a way down the street, and it's honking for quite a while, and it just doesn't slow down. Doesn't want to stop, nah, screw it, old man, you're gonna die if you don't move. It would be game over for Grandpa, and that driver would just have killed him on purpose. Also, what is Fu's escape plan if there's nobody worthy to help him out? Well, guess I'll just die then. But Marinette does save him. She gives him one of her few remaining macarons that survived the fall, and off she goes to class, while he chooses his first hero. She arrives in class, she sits down, only to be confronted by Chloe, who bullies her a bit and then tells her to move, as Chloe wants to sit behind Adrien, who's going to be new to the school this year. But yeah, Marinette gets bullied, then Alia bursts in to save the day, befriends Marinette. And I did notice this. It's Alia, the new girl, who steps in to help Marinette. Marinette who gets chronically bullied by this person. No one else in the school, no other kids help. Not even the teacher, Miss Bustier. What's going on here? Surely the teacher could hear the very obvious argument and bullying that is going on right in front of her. No? I mean, the school bell's rung. Ugh, guess not. Meanwhile, we get our first look at Adrian, who seemingly run all the way to school, trying to avoid Natalie and Gorilla, who are trying to take him home. So I gotta wonder, Adrian has a seat already assigned at school or something like that, and Chloe knew he'd be in the class, so how did he even enroll to begin with? Did he do it himself? Because his dad certainly didn't, considering the flunkies are trying to force him to go back to the mansion. Anyway, he shows a lot of kindness to Fu when he sees him off to the side, struggling to stand and pick up his walking stick, so he helps him, and he becomes the second chosen hero. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't get to go to school. He's shuffled off back home by the goons. Damn. I kind of forgot how depressing Adrian's life was. Back in class, I guess their first class is now over, and it's now either PE or off to the library. And Kim is of course starting shit with Ivan, because of course it is. Kim is absolute trash. And it enrages Ivan to the point of almost swinging at Kim. Based. And does Miss Bustier see this and think, ooh, I'd better check on the reason behind their fight? Nope. She just sends Ivan to the principal and lets him deal with it. Honestly, that feels very realistic. And so Ivan gets akumatized, but not before he gets some salt in the wound with the classic, no, go back out and knock. Damn. Now that is accurate. And this actually triggered me a little bit. And it's not exactly the same context, right? But I once had a teacher that if you were even like 1 second late to class, the dude would shut the door in your face or tell you to leave the class and then shut the door in your face. He'd lock you out, leave you out there for like 20 minutes, and then bring you in front of everybody as a power move / to publicly shame you. It's like, bro, my parents are paying school fees. You are not a struggling public school teacher. Pull your head out of your ass, you pretentious dipshit. I hate you. But yeah, Ivan gets akumatized into Stonehart and he goes on a rampage. And in one of the most realistic and relatable moments in the episode, Mr. Damocles straight up tries to call the army, tries to get them on the phone. Very true. Because by the time of the other episodes, this sort of thing, it's treated as scary, but just another day. The heroes will come. But here, it's a giant screaming rock man. That would be terrifying. So he goes nuts, and Alia proves here that even then, she has no self-preservation instincts, as she rushes headlong into chasing after the rock monster so she can see a real-life superhero in action. My god. If this was real life and not a show, she would be well on her way to winning a Darwin Award. Then it's over to Adrian's house, where he gets yelled at by his dad, who's totally not Hawkmoth, guys. I promise he's not. Trust me, we're not gonna swerve you guys. Ah! And Natalie, despite her change of heart late in the game, proves to be a massive stooge, selling poor Adrian out to his dad, even when he begged her not to. Oh, he ain't gonna fall in love with you, lady. Trust me, I've read the script.
Snitches end up in ditches.
Adrian then storms off to his room to sulk. Although, you know what, it's not even fair. That's not fair. He's not sulking. He's more like being very reasonably upset that he's being socially isolated and abused by his dad. But he hears some noise, he walks outside and witnesses a police barricade right outside his house confronting Stonehart, and they shoot at him with what I guess are supposed to be tasers. Why they think a taser is going to stop a rock monster, I don't know. Also, these tasers seem to function more like Star Wars laser guns, but okay. Guess we'll just accept that. Also, just googled it and French police can carry guns. I feel like this is probably the time to go straight for lethal force instead of tasers. I'm not advocating for Ivan's death, but in reality, if you saw a giant rock monster in the CBD, you'd probably want to kill it. But maybe that's just me. But it turns out that attacking him only makes him stronger, and so it'll be up to our fledgling heroes to do the job. So we see our heroes meet their kwamis, and Marinette, not having gained her confidence yet, panics, and panics hard. Whilst Adrian's a bit skeptical, but more receptive. He's not afraid, but he's also desperate to protect his stuff from Plagg, who's trying to eat everything. Also, Plagg is just much better at explaining things. He's straight to the point, no bullshit. Tiki struggles a bit more there, although I guess it would be tough with Marinette screaming and throwing things at her. Also, we have a cutaway where Fu talks about how he's sure that they're the right choices, and that he'd only gotten it wrong once. Is that talking about his mistake with the peacock, or is this just a plot thread that ends up going nowhere? Because I don't remember it ever being explained. So, Marinette and Adrien are told to get ready to face Stonehart. And I love that Marinette's just all unsure when she transforms. But meanwhile, Adrien just rushes in and is straight away striking his poses and whatnot. And when they have their fateful first meeting, their dynamic feels so different. Ladybug's all clumsy and unsure, whilst Cat Noir's just normal. Feels wrong, doesn't it? It's like when Ladybug had that crush on Cat Noir in like season 5. Right near the start of it, I think. Something like that. Stonehart then arrives at I guess this is like the National Football Stadium or something like that. Bloody huge, isn't it? Did they seriously rent this out for one PE class? Dang. And he's seemingly trying to kill Kim. Based. But Cat Noir intervenes and starts to fight him, and honestly, Cat Noir takes the L in this battle. He gets slapped around, he gets caught, although in his defense, he only gets caught because he had to stop Alia winning a Darwin Award. And then he needs to be saved by Ladybug. He prematurely uses his power, looks like an idiot, and then it's up to Ladybug to beat Stonehart using a pretty convoluted plan. And she claps his stone cheeks in like 30 seconds. Damn. Also, the idea of the water being so powerful that it would blast his hand open to free her, pretty laughable. If he's holding it that tight, wouldn't it just not be able to enter his fist to begin with, and the pressure build up in the hose would just blast off the nozzle at the tap? No. Because if he's holding the wetsuit pretty loose in his hand, then it would just pop and ooze out his fingers, right? No? I don't understand how this plan works. Are we not doing science today? Whatever. They make dinosaurs come back to life later. Science doesn't matter here. What am I talking about? But yeah, they don't cleanse the Akuma, but for now the day is saved and it's off home, where both our heroes celebrate and the world celebrates, being super excited that Paris now has heroes, until the Akuma multiplies and infects a bunch of people and freezes them as mini Stonehearts, waiting for Ivan to get angry once again and for them to awaken as his grand Stoneheart army. And Marinette chooses this key moment, where everything's about to go to shit, to have a meltdown and quit. And so we leave off with Gabe doing his evil monologue and laugh and swearing how he's going to whoop some serious ass, but not right now. Next episode. And so yeah, that's where we end things for now. That's cliffhanger ending. Damn. I'd forgotten how fun this episode was. Like, back in the old days of season 1, this episode truly was the peak of the show. We'd gotten so used to the Monster of the Week format, which was still fresh back then, that getting backstory and story development, it was really exciting. And whilst the first battle with Stoneheart is kind of lame, I think they probably make up for it next episode, so I can accept that. But yeah, damn good episode. This is probably season 1's peak, honestly. So with all that being said, these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? You like it? Hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.